Hello everyone, and welcome to a playthrough of playing Visage in a Immortal Draft game. If you've been wanting to learn Visage, then I hope that this footage of mine might come of help to you. Visage is a hero that's been picking up more and more attraction over the last couple of months. And he's interesting because he's very powerful and there's a lot going for him. So let's get into things. This is me playing a game, like I said, Immortal Draft, roughly 6.7k, not that high yet. Slowly approaching 7k in this game here. It's a quick game, and I pretty much wanted to go over some of the things you can do with Visage in a live replay of mine. And you'll see a bunch of different things that you may or may not know. I've been picking up a lot of tricks recently. I've been studying Visage a lot, gone through his numbers, sort of strategies, looking at pros, all that sort of stuff. So there's some goodies in here. So first and foremost, one of the main things you definitely want to do with Visage is that you want to go for first blood. I am in the firm believer, I honestly don't think there is a hero that's stronger at level 1 fighting than Visage. You could maybe argue Shadow Fiend is one of the best contenders because of raises. Visage is also one of the best. So if you have a team that remotely can fight runes, you want to do it with Visage because your odds of getting first blood is sky high. It's incredible to say the least. So it's really, really sad when not everyone feels like doing it on your team. It's one of the best, easiest ways to get like a good game starting. And because you usually will get the first blood, you'll have more of a initial impact on lane because you'll get an item or two for free. You can see here, waiting for Wind Ranger and Disruptor, and we do see them. Very, very patient. 2 block grenades there, and he does get him in there. And you can see I do get the first blood here. You can see that's a lot of money. Of course, she snatches the rune, that sucks a little bit. But notice here immediately that I am going to, as I run for the rune here, I queue up a talisman, and I get a set of tangos as well. And this also explains why my items look like this. A lot of people, they see that I don't have tangos from the start, and this is how I normally build Visage from the start, by the way. 2 circlets, 3 sticks, and 2 bankos. I basically ripped this build from 33, the pro player. And the reason is, like, you can pretty much stay alive and get runes in by far the most games as Visage. And this lets you really, really hammer home the pain. As you can see, the courier is already coming here with what I need. Same with Rubik, he's also bringing additional stuff. Notice how I immediately play aggressive to the point that I often miss last hits. The good part about Visage is, with Soul Assumption only being 4 seconds long, you can constantly drive up damage with your partner and just really dish out the damage. And you can see I'll do it non-stop here. So much so that it kills PL already. And that's just it. Like, that's the kind of burst damage you have with Visage. That's so really, really good. And then we can start last hitting. And that's pretty much it. This is why we get the mangoes. We can basically assert complete lane dominance in this fashion. And you can do this in almost every game. As a footnote, it is harder to do when you play with melee supports because most of the time they don't have that much damage to dish out at level 1, depending on what you're up against and where the enemy is situated at the time. But on average, it's a bit harder with a melee support. Luckily, I have a Rubik that can spam Fate Bolt, and it becomes really, really easy. Now, something that will happen in this lane, and we'll discuss, is that Rubik will have a lot of fights with Disruptor, and that's good because I want to help him with it. Because one of the best things you can do, and this is not just a Visage thing, but as a position 3, is that you can aid the position 4. If it's a 2 versus 1, it's not exactly fair for Disruptor after all. And a lot of safe laners aren't very keen, and remember this is a 6-7 game even. They aren't very keen on helping their position 5, and you can really abuse this in a lot of brackets because you can just gang up on the position 5 and destroy them. So a lot of the time, whereas a lot of I could be spending my damage on PL, I'll do it on Disruptor instead because he's the one that does the most damage to Rubik and me. It's not really PL, is it? He's even not using his mana to harass us right now. So he is the threat we want gone from the board, really. So you can see I'm going to shift my focus. The main reason why I was focusing PL before was because he was low HP. That was pretty much it. And that's pretty much the fundamental. You can also see I will, whenever possible, I'll try to get some right-click damage in there. And again, if they take these prolonged fights with you and you play Visage, Soul Assumption is generated from damage being done by the enemy and damage done by your partner and you. So the more damage being equated in the lane, the better, because the more burst damage we can bring forth. And that's exactly what we want. On heroes, of course. Does not count creeps. That's exactly what we're looking for here. But here you can see, go in, help the support. Why not? And get a kill. And now we have residue damage here, so that's good. Let's see, I really, really wanted it off on PL there. But this is good, as you can see. Like, we're really, really harassing him down here. Like, yeah, I might miss a few last hits. That doesn't matter, because you know who's last hitting meanwhile? That's Rubik. And that's not a bad thing. This is not me saying anything bad about him. He played perfectly. I had the perfect lane partner in this game, by the way. He played really, really fantastic, this Rubik. That's perfect, because as soon as we make it impossible for PL to lane, that's the best thing we can be looking for. And Disruptor already is having a really poor time, so... You see here, again, go for Disruptor. He's the one that matters the most. And I am queuing up another Null Talisman. This has been pretty much the most common build you will see on Visage nowadays, from a lot of high-level Visage players as well, is double Null Talisman into a Magic Wand, and then the build kind of deviates from there. But that double Null Talisman really makes it so you can just keep spamming aggressively with Soul Assumption. I'm going to pick up Lotus. Burst mana is really, really good. I see a Raspiel again. Again, I could be focused more on last hits, but I really want to put the pressure on the squeeze on both him and the support. And ideally, I want to, like, kill Disruptor. There's also the fact that there's some matchups where you got to be careful with Visage, because this could be, for example, a Oracle. Oracle is one of the worst because he can Fate's Edict and you can't do any damage. PL can also double ganger, and I know that he's skilled it because he's shown it to me, but it's also just conceptually what PL would not want to have you countered that way. So it's hard to land it on him unless I am right next to him, pretty much. So you will see, we will go a lot for Disruptor here. I see you go on PL a little bit. And I play a little bit too aggressive here, but it's fine. I want to assert dominance with Visage, so. And again, you can always buy more tangos as you need it. It's not a problem. And the beautiful part about playing Visage like this as well is if I die, no biggie, because I come back with full health and full mana, and with full mana looking like this, I will dish out so much damage once I come back. So it's not even a problem if I do die, because they're probably going to trade a death for it. That's not what PL wants to do right now. But it's a good lane. It's a very, very strong lane. And it is easier when you play Visage to play with a ranged support, especially because he can dish damage out. Stuff like Disruptor, Rubik, Jakiro is wonderful, Witch Doctor. It's just, ooh, it's juicy. That doesn't mean you can't play with melee support. It's more because ranged heroes in general have an easier access to doing damage on lane together with you, it is just that much easier for you to get successful Soul Assumptions off in the first place. One thing I also gotta put note in here is that notice how I have 2 points in Soul Assumption. This is a bit of a new thing, relatively anyway, from last patch, in that now that you start off with Graveproof Cloak, it's not uncommon to go 2-2. Many times before, no people would put 2 points in Soul Assumption, but it's kind of become like the new thing, especially with this double Null Talisman, so just so you're aware of it. It feels really, 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 really good to lane with because you just start dishing out so much damage, and you can very, very reliably get up to 4 stacks on your Soul Assumption, so that's why you will see it. It is extremely common for Visage to do this now that he has a free point in Gravekeepers. I put an extra point in here, you can see I go 1-1-2, but it depends on the lane. A lot of the time I will go 2-2-0 now. And there you go. That's the first time I tried it. There's also nothing wrong with just trying and missing because you kind of, you know, it's a bit like you're kind of fishing for it. You're you're proving to PL, I'm willing to do it. Are you willing to doppelganger? And then once he proves it, there you go. You know, he is ups on it. So a little bit of a poker play, if you will. So that's also why you see me not doing it here until he's close to me, because I know he's looking for it. So if we kind of rewind here, as you can see here, we slow it down a bit. Notice how I could spit at him here, but I know he's looking for it, so I am intentionally waiting for him to go closer to creeps there because he wanted to last hit, and now he has a very small time frame to land it, and he doesn't land it. He had double gangers the entire time. Now you could say he could have made it, yeah, but he didn't. He does it now, of course. So you can fake it out. You can do the same thing with an Oracle, for an example, before he gets Fate Edicts off. You're just going to be smart about it. And this is not a very fun lane if you are a hard carry. In general, playing against Visage is one of the most oppressive things that can possibly happen. It's just not very, very fun. So Rubik leaves here. Now this is a bad play by me because I sniffed it out because of the Soul Disruptor randomly running towards me. I figured it could be because my Rubik just left to get a kill on Beastmaster up here. I had a bad feeling and I knew something was wrong, and I also see Wind Ranger here and I'm like, okay, that's why he was doing that. So we do catch a death here. Now Disruptor will be very proud of that play, which is why he does that to kind of detox himself a bit. Beautiful part though is he does not go here. He should have, because that's about to spawn. And because he doesn't go there, That means I will, because why not? It's free. So that's perfect. So that death doesn't really do a whole lot for me because I'm almost level 6 now. So I go back here, and again, it's pretty much just basic laning at this point. Also worth noting here, once we get birds, which will be pretty much now, is that this is a common thing, is that I have Luna on my team. Now Luna is really good with Visage for pretty much an obvious reason. It's Luna Blessing, because Luna Blessing works on birds. Giving familiars plus 9 damage is absolutely crazy. So once that's maxed, that is just absolutely insane to give that much damage to Visage plus familiars. It absolutely makes them shred. You basically get like a free level in familiars worth of damage. It's crazy. The amount of pushing you have at this opening gambit, if you get level 6 before level 10, which preferably you should, and at level, sorry, what, not level, at minute 15 and forward is absolutely fantastic. You can push so fast with it. It's so oppressive. You are just so strong with it. It is probably one of the best combos. The only bad thing about it right now is Luna isn't the best carry right now, but it's more conceptually how much he buffs Visage is absolutely fantastic. You'll see it here, because we will move towards the tower here in a moment. And you'll see here how I boost here. And just notice how quickly that tower goes down. It's crazy. I don't have a Vladimir's yet. I am building a Maelstrom, which is one of the new bulbs that is kind of trending right now. Is that instead of rushing a Vladimir's and drums, you go Maelstrom into Gleipnir fairly early. And that is what I'm doing here. And that will reveal itself very quickly why I also do that. In a moment. So that's a tower. Now remember, I am skittish because I know Wind Ranger is a bit of a scary hero to fight against. And here is the tech that you will see a lot. And you'll be seeing me doing this throughout the game. And this takes quite a bit of practice. I said I had some goodies to show off in this game. I'm splitting the birds here, and you can probably tell they're going for this. And this is still something I'm practicing and getting better and better at. So notice how the bird's going to go here. It's going to pull. That's going to make it. And that's going to pull. I actually think both of those will make it. And yep, we have 2 stacks. Now that's wonderful because that's powerful. I just stacked 2 ancient camps. Not a lot of heroes can do that. I mean, there's a few, you know, if they have a bear, treants, Beastmaster can do it, etc. Visage can do it too. And the beautiful part is that this Maelstrom build is fantastic because you farm really, really fast and you basically become an issue because you can stack for yourself. In this game, however, I am not stacking for myself. Remember, I have a Luna. I am actually stacking for Luna, which is perfect. So the Maelstrom is just going to be for myself, but it's not for me to take these stacks. But Visage can very, very, very reliably take these stacks all on his own, which is why it's so good. So you're going to speed up here. Now you are going to see this a lot. So when you see the birds depart from where my main hero is, it is because every single time they go to stack somewhere. So you will notice like I will use birds separately from Visage quite a lot. So notice how this bird goes here. And you can see, and I'm stacking it again. So that's a triple stack now. Like that's a lot of value. Now the main hero is here, and we are pushing the tower together. Now do remember that one thing they did on Visage that's really, really good is that you can now recall the birds by autocasting it, putting this ability in autocast. You can now recall familiars. They will basically start channeling and they will follow. Be recalled to your position a bit like a Cuddle can do. The only issue is that you can't do it if the ability itself is on cooldown, so take care of that. So dump them there. It's also why I am spending so much time in this rough area is that I kind of want to have the birds relatively close to me and also stack at the same time. So I'm going to do it one more time. Roughly at stack 3 to 4 is where it starts getting really, really difficult depending on what camps have spawned. So you don't have to like try and overkill it. Let's see here. This one doesn't get, and this one gets. And this is what I mean. It becomes very difficult. So either normally in most of my games, I don't really have a carry that wants to farm it this fast. Like this is very, very, very fast to ask a carry to farm this, right? It is. Which is fantastic because I basically have a Maelstrom coming in on the courier here. It'll come here in a moment, as you can see. It's coming right here. And as soon as you have Maelstrom in particular, you can very, very easily take that with Visage. So that's really what it is. But instead of sitting in AFK farming in this game, when your team is ahead and your team is playing well together, you can do just that. You shouldn't go an AFK farm if it really isn't super necessary. It really depends on the game flow and whatnot. And in this game, I'm sniffing blood because my team is playing really, really well. So I will go and help them as much as I am able. And Visage is wonderful at this for obvious reasons. I see so much damage. And again, we do have that extra point in Soul Assumption. You can see how easy it is to have it generate, right? This is what I mean. It is very, very easy to get that extra damage. Let's see, be very, very aggressive. And Medusa is going to die there. Now, the only sad part here is that it's not nighttime yet. If we had waited, but if it was nighttime, our birds will be doing a lot of damage because Luna has 3 points and Luna was in here. Still, this is very powerful. Let's see, it is so hard for them to fight into this. And this is very early into the game after all. There's nothing worse than this. People hate playing against this sort of stuff. Visage is just such a scary hero because of familiars and because of how much burst damage. And if you have something tanky like a Tiny, it's just, ooh, it's a good time. So we're gonna pull back here. Now, I do recall in this game, I did tell Luna, there is a lot of stacks waiting for you, and it is kind of hard for him to take him. But I do remember telling him, it's like, if you're not taking them, I will be taking them now. And of course, when you say that, that's usually when carries will move. It's like, oh, they want the farm though. So and that's good because I wanted to give it to him. Now, I watched this before doing commentary on the game. Funny thing here is we're going to go to net worth and you'll see Tiny is looking pretty hot and so is Luna. This is more like proof of concept of what happens when you do stack a lot. And you can see I'm trying to get another stack. This one is going to be very, very difficult. Ooh, I don't remember. Do I get it? I actually do get it. This one is easier than this camp here. And this is a lot of farm, right? Beautiful part here is like Luna will be taking all of these. And meanwhile, I am just farming here. But notice how Luna's and my farm both is just going to skyrocket here. Because remember that we do get gold for having stacked for Luna. You'll see how Luna and me are just bouncing together with one another. And she's slowly going to overtake Tiny here. Because she's getting so much farm from all the engines. Let's see here. And she takes a second camp now. And she's not doing it very, very fast yet because she's not like that farmed. But now it's nighttime. So I start farming faster too. And you can see I am now building up Vladimir's. Let's see, now she pops ahead of Tiny because she is taking it. And now slowly I will start popping ahead here as well because I am getting so much gold from that. So now I'm popping ahead of Tiny. Of course, Tiny is going to like catch up to me again, but this is more, look at the three of us just all having the same amount of farm because I basically got so many stacks done for Luna. That's perfect. Now, I will put another note in this and explain this here because this is where things get a bit unorthodox. So there are pretty much two builds on Visage that are very, very common right now. There's a build where you basically focus more on rushing Vladimir's and drums, and you just play very aggressive with these items. And then a lot of people build into either ATOS or into Bearing. The build I'm doing is one I found out I kind of like, and it fits my playstyle a lot, where I go Maelstrom early. Where I deviate from that build is 33 is the one that does this, like I said. And he rushes into Gleipnir. I think it's not greedy, it's kind of like hard to do. I really feel like I personally need a Vladimir's, so I almost always get a Vladimir's before I go Gleipnir. This is not the normal way. Most of the time he doesn't even get Vladimir's. He just gets Gleipnir and then he gets other stuff like AC. He just completely opts out of having a Vladimir's altogether. So this is a me thing, just so you know. Also, it is a perfect game for having it because we are going to finish very, very soon, as you can see. But a Gleipnir would be next on the menu. And you could ask, but Kubashi, why would you get a Gleipnir on Visage? You already have stuns and stuff, and you have a slow. Well, because the slow is rarely enough to catch someone, but if you have a root, it is much like Hoodwink. It makes it so much easier to set up all your stuff. It's super scary to get rooted with a Gleipnir from a long range, have Visage come close to you with birds, then Q you, and then put you in a stun lock with birds. So it is very, very potent. There's a reason why high-level Visage players are starting to do it a lot. Let's see here. And again, it is nighttime, so again, if we hover over to the birds and we click on them, notice how the birds do 21 more damage. It's so much. You can see it by the speed at which I push. And yeah, again, we're 10k ahead. You can see how far ahead we are of everyone because this is stacks. It's just a wonderful time. And we are going to put the squeeze on the enemy here. We just pretty much need to go together at this point. Now, not every Visage game looks as easy, of course. I did kind of pick a very fast Visage game just to show a few tricks, really. And also to show how to really play aggressively once you are ahead. You won your lane and your team is ahead. This isn't every game. Which is actually bringing me to the point of the good part about the whole Maelstrom into Gleipnir thing is if your team is further behind, or like maybe if you didn't win your lane even yourself, your ability to farm back into the game and get crucial items so you can win the game is much, much better. You can get an Aghanim's fast, you can get an AT fast, it's wonderful. It just lets you farm really, really quickly back into the game. And Tiny is a hero that's also just completely all over the place right now, as in he's just busted beyond repair. They need to do something about it. Also, yes, we are of course using Sepulcher, but there's literally no reason not to use Sepulcher. The other facet on Visage is, it doesn't work. Let's put it like that. You just shouldn't use it. It's awful. Good part here with Luna is we can just go in. If you want to play really, really, really safe with Visage, and this is not just like when you're head like this, it's just every game you play with Visage. A lot of the time, not every game, but most of games, you can pretty much just toss birds up here together with creeps. And as long as they don't get pelted really, really quickly, and you stand within a Gravekeeper cloak radius, you can really get some serious easy damage without any hero commitment whatsoever. We don't really need to do that here. It's more if you just want to push very, very safely. And then use Sepulcher, and you can see how fast that goes. Like, I'm the only one hitting the structure here, as you can see. Putting them in the ground. And they're going on Tiny. We don't like that. It's not the best cogs, but still. And they can't really fight into this, can they? And we don't even have Aegis here. You can just see how fast we're pushing. It's just oppressive. Now, I believe I'm making the call for this, even though we took melee barracks. And that's another trick you can actually do in these sorts of games. If you're super far ahead, and if the opponent is tilted, or if they don't have buybacks or stuff, one of the best moves you can now do, since they changed how you get Glyph of Fortification, is you can take a tier 3 and then you can just end the game. Because remember that the only way they get a glyph, unless like they usually use it here, right? But you don't get a glyph by taking this tower anymore. You get a glyph by melee barracks being taken. So you can just, usually with Visage, it's very, very common. I can just go straight here. I just need like a semi-tanky core, like a Tiny is easy, Luna is easy. I can even do it myself. And the speed at which you take these is phenomenal. And even better than taking barracks is buybacks, because if people use buybacks and they don't get anything for it, it's terrible, because the next time they die, the game is well and truly over. It's fantastic. And Visage is one of the best heroes that are using this concept now, because you just push so fast, especially with this lineup, right? So, and this is fantastic. We can just go straight for this, because what are they going to do? They have to fight into us, you know? At least if we took barracks, they could kind of be like, yeah, you know, even Wind Ranger's trying to like push creeps and stuff. But if we go straight for the heart, then there you go. Like, they have to act. There is no way around it. So she's forced to come back. She realizes we're not going to push mid, so. Also, there is creeps here, so we're fine. Let's see, this is so hard to fight into. And we do have a Gleipnir now. Again, this is the way I built him, with Gleipnir after Vladimir's. And it's fantastic for this reason alone. Let's see, we can put him to the ground if we want. We don't even need to. So very, very quick, easy game. Just really to show off Visage's power and talk about a few things on him, really. And get a little bit of Sepulcher there. And Beast Master is, of course, none too happy, because he just lost a game in 21 minutes, pretty much. And that's, you know, that's just typical Visage things. A lot of games that go well will go this quickly if you just play it out well, really. Yes, says Rubik. Rubik actually played really, really good in this game. So there you have it. That's a 22k lead. That's a lot. That's a 22k lead. I think, I don't remember at the top of my head how much I stacked in that game. I think it was like 9 to 10 times. It's totally doable. The downside of stacking like that is that it is possible for the enemy to come and take them. So you got to be wary of that, especially if the enemy has something that flash farms them. Like if they have a safe lane TA and he's winning, or any hero like that, like a Sven is becoming more popular as a safe lane, you got to be very careful that especially the supports on his side don't sniff it out and find out, oh damn, Visage actually stacked ancient camps, because he will go and take that and you've stacked for the enemy, and you definitely don't want to do that. So there's a lot of tricks you can do with Visage, and hey, the hero is very much what I would consider top tier. I've been spamming him relentlessly for over 200 games in like 3 months now, and I have currently it's only like 60% win rate over those games, but recently it's closer to 70 in my recent games. So it's going pretty well, and I do see myself taking this hero to at least 8 to 9k. It's going to take a bit, games are getting harder, but highly recommend it, of course. And as a disclaimer, I've seen some people in some of my videos say that, well, you can't do this as Visage in lower level games. It won't work because people don't know how to play together with Visage. That's untrue. Visage is very strong. I'm not allowed to smurf, I will not smurf, but if I had a 2-3k account, I very much guarantee you I could play like this, and I would win, I'd say 80 to 90% of my games. Not every game, because not every game is winnable, but it is very easy if you know what you're doing to not just win lane, but completely stomp a lane on offlane or mid lane, or even partially as a support as Visage. The hero is just very strong, he does a lot, and if you know how to control him, you can accomplish a lot. There simply just isn't any one thing that Visage doesn't do well. He farms fast, he pushes fast, he does a lot of damage, he controls a lot, he has a lot of stun. He's just generally a really well-rounded, strong hero right now, and he's universal. Who doesn't like universal heroes? Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you liked this shorter video, reading-wise. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Go play some Visage, and if you have any questions, as always, please put them in the comments. I'd love to help you people out, and I hope you like Visage, and you start practicing him. He's really fun. Yeah, it's just one of the most fun Dota heroes in the game, I think. That's pretty much it. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.